Welcome back to Me Being Cheap. Michael's putting a little bit of Epsom salt down in these holes. This is the ground cover cloth from Grower Solution, and we are looking for ways to make the gardening pretty effortless as we both work full time. So this will prevent a lot of weeding. And then to actually cut the holes in the cloth, you just use a little small propane torch, and that seals the edges to keep it from fraying, and you can burn perfect circles in that way. Then to dig the holes, we just use one of these bulb diggers, just like that. And then all of our plants, we started from seeds, so we have a tray of various type of peppers, and then over here we have various types of tomatoes. These are long overdue for planting. We were supposed to have our last frost date on April 10th, but we've actually had several freezes since then, and today is April 20th, I think. What is today? 18th. I'm off a couple days. So the spacing is a little bit different. We have for the indeterminates and the determinants, a little bit different spacing. They take a little bit more space on some of them. But yeah, as far as ground prep, this is the area that we had the straw bale garden, so we just tilled the extra straw down into the soil and a little bit of quail manure. And we had actually sent the dirt off to be tested by the lab at K-State, and this area was actually fine, wasn't it? Yeah, so we didn't have to do any additives.
Very slightly acidic.
Very slightly acidic. Within 7.0?
7.0 to 7.0.
Alright. We're going to have to replant some of our peas. We had a couple different varieties here, 4 lines of them, and only one variety is coming up. So we've got some more seeds on the way. Going to replant these. Peppers will go here in this area after we get done planting these tomatoes. So there is an old timer. He was here in Oxford, and he was known for growing a lot of tomatoes. So he had a little garden spot at his house that watered itself actually with the washing machine. He had that all plumbed in, so that was pretty interesting. We're not doing that here. We have rainwater over there. But he had told me if you will add manure to your dirt, like a trailer load of manure, and then we used to have an alfalfa plant in here. He said if you would get some scraps that were aged by a couple years, the alfalfa scraps are high in nitrogen. He said you put that in there, and then when you get ready to plant your tomatoes, you put just a sprinkle of Epsom salt in the bottom of the hole. So we're going to try that this year. We did get bags of manure from Walmart, or actually it was Lowe's, and we added a lot of manure here. And again, we had, for the hot, we had some quail poop, a little bit of that, and we're doing the Epsom salt, so we'll see. Again, we're trying to make this effortless since we both work full time. We don't want to be out here in the heat of the summer weeding. And we're going to do the irrigation again. So we've got this main line here, and come down here, and we've got where it tees off, and these little lines here are drip lines. About every 12 inches there's water that comes out, so these little drip tapes are pretty handy. And there's one little inlet down here. This is where you attach the hose, and again, we do have rain barrels. Pardon the mess. We got to get back there with the weed eater and clean, but we do have rain barrels. That water's free and actually better for your plants. We have a little pump that we run that off of, or we have the option of using the city water supply, which that costs money, and the chlorine that's in it isn't the greatest for the plants. So we do have 2 options for watering if it doesn't rain. Alright, I will catch back up with you after we get everything planted to show you what it looks like. Thanks for watching. All right, welcome back. We planted a whole tray of tomatoes, so that's like 72. Now, we did have a couple deaths, things that just did not transplant very well. So, yeah, a couple of them, we had a death, but that's okay. We have another tray, so we can come back in, and the ones that didn't make it, like this one right here, we can actually replant those. So yeah, by and large, most of them looks like they survived the transplanting. We have a few deaths here and there, so that's 72 plants. We have a combination of Romas, Amish paste, San Marzanos, and pink ox heart and beefsteak. So we'll use the paste tomatoes for making sauces. And over here we have a lot of peppers. And they actually look like they survived the transplanting very well. Some of them are a little smaller than others. We do have some interesting varieties. So these right here in the second row of peppers, these are supposed to be like a giant, I think a giant yellow sweet pepper, like a bell pepper. And then this row over here is just your normal bell peppers. And then these over here are some specialty type peppers. And these over here, these are actually a Japanese variety. And I don't know if this is showing on the camera, but they actually have some purple leaves. And the peppers, it's a sweet type of pepper, but it's actually purple. But they come from Japan. And here are just some other assorted ones. I'd have to pull out my little map to see exactly all these varieties. Actually, Michael's keeping track of that. I just help plant. Anyhow, we did get the irrigation lines laid, and so this is supposed to be fairly work-free once the initial work is done. So we have the irrigation lines, and you can hook up over here on this one end, hook up to your water supply, and then the water travels down this main pipe, and then there's little T's, and then every 12 inches on these lines, water drips out. So it's very efficient. We got that completed, as well as most of the plants planted. I'll show you over here. These are some of our rain barrels, and we've got the pump out there. And we have a busted pump. It's either something inside is broken, or we have a leaking gasket. So we actually watered with the city water yesterday. We'll have to do something about that pump. We have had a lot of pump issues. That's the one thing that we have struggled with on the rainwater systems is the pump. So we've tried lots of different things, and it's been rather finicky. Let's take a look down here. We don't have anything planted in this section yet, but these are our, I think we got lettuces in here. Let me peek. Let's see. Yeah, these are lettuces that are growing. All right. We've also got, let's see if I can get in over here. We've got greens, turnip, collard, and mustard in here. I think it was the collards did not come up, but look at this. These are looking good. Get up and under here. So yeah, those are doing nicely. Those are fairly cold weather tolerant. We do have the row covers on them to help out. And then under here we have some cauliflowers. And other brassicas. It's kind of hard to see up and under here. Oh my goodness, this is hard. But yeah, they seem to be coming along. And the onions, I don't know if you can see those. We planted onions in between and they are actually coming up too. So that's pretty cool. Alright, one other thing I'll show you. Actually, I'll show you two other things. Again, not much luck on these carrots. We do have a few that are sprouting. We did have these planted in trenches. But you can see a few coming up there. And some along the edges. We had these planted in trenches, but they're just not doing very well. We may have to redo those. And then these are our garlics. And they are doing very well. So things are starting to come together. I'll walk around here and I'll show you the potatoes. And if you remember, I had a 50-pound experiment. Bought those 50 pounds of potatoes. Most of them ended up sprouting. They did not store well. But I did plant them out here. And we have potatoes growing. But the one thing that I worry about is this is a newer section of garden. We used it last year for melons. It is still very hard, clay, dry. I'm kind of worried that these are not going to do very well at all due to the soil. Over here, of course, this has been my garden spot over here for years, and so this is actually much looser soil. But we have this this area over here earmarked for something else. I'll probably put some squashes and cucumbers and things like that. But yeah, we do have potatoes growing. Alright, thanks for watching.